So I just finished eating some vegan chocolate muffins, but I just took the rest of the remaining ones. I ate like 12 of them, a lot. And then I ate some like cookies that have like almond butter, and they're from like 365 Foods. And let me pull up some notes that I want to talk about right quick. One Before I even go there, one thing I want to say is that okay, yeah, but I guess like the one thing, and I have to talk about this again because like there are so many. What I've noticed ever since I started, I did a checkup today, and my last checkup was 3 days ago, and both checkups just so happened to be on the 2 days this week that I'm working. So I got a free ride over there from the volunteer place, and then I got a free ride back to where I was volunteering. But the meeting was longer than I expected, so I didn't really get to volunteer. I didn't really get to clock in. I just carried some water to the fridge and put some stuff in there. But what I want to say, reiterate, is that there are like so many fine ass women in the places that I go to, whether I'm volunteering like that place, going to wash my clothes, or doing a medical checkup like I did today. But one must consider, like, one false move, one wrong move, and that woman will mess around and never want to interact with you ever again. Because like at these places, especially the place that I do my laundry, and the place where that I do checkups and stuff now that I recently started, one must consider that they're already giving me the side eye, and like because of my situation, like they like for some reason I just feel like maybe it's my assumption, maybe I'm assuming, but it's just like maybe they're just looking at me as a nuisance. Like maybe they just that I feel like I can tell they probably look at me that way, but I don't know for certain. So they may not want to deal with me ever again. And like somebody was probably being way off when they got banned from the place I volunteer at. The one I talked about in one of the previous videos, like the past 3 videos, one of them I talked about it. And yeah, I'm personally someone who wants more romantic interaction with women. Like I guess I'm pretty open, I'm pretty queer, but I can meet femboys and trans women online, looking over my shoulder slightly. But yeah, here's the interesting thing. Like, what do you do when a new baddie comes into a place of work? Because that's what happened yesterday. There's one guy who's like really over the top. He was saying some funny stuff. There was one black girl who was laughing. And then there was that was her second time volunteering. But then there was a second one who was super, super light skinned and on the thinner side, but she didn't look very curvy, but she had an attractive face, and she was walking around with white headphones on. And like she had one ear that was out, the right one. I don't know why I'm being so specific, but this guy was like making some loud noises like, yeah, you go, here we go, and stuff like that. I don't remember exactly. And she was laughing at it too. I just feel like if a new baddie comes into a certain area and you give her a lot of attention, maybe she's already too used to that, so I try not to. Yeah. Yeah, I did that with one Latina who had like a massive booty. Like I didn't say hi to her or nothing. And then she started talking to me. So, but it doesn't really matter if it doesn't turn into anything, right? Because generally I don't really fool around with people, with coworkers or people I work around. And I realized like maybe I should say I usually don't, because if I end up, because some, like maybe not me, but the woman I deal with could turn around and spill a little bit of information that we hung out outside of work, outside of a certain environment, and we may or may not have gone and done certain things. And then because people held me to that standard of, oh, he doesn't deal with people, now they think I'm a liar. Oh, because he doesn't screw around, because he doesn't do like intimate relations with people he associates with on that level. But now I'm hearing the story of the woman saying that you guys did this, this, and this, and they're going to be like behind my back. They're going to be like, that guy told me he doesn't do that. So maybe just like, I don't know. There's definitely no baddies at my place of work. Where there's one, but like there will be times where I'll leave and then I don't know. It just feels personal. But yeah, I have to remember that it's not, because it'll be like a manager who's a guy who will send me away, and it'll be just that one baddie there and then another woman. But and that baddie has another job. They have a second job. That's the one with the second job who somehow was scheduled more hours to work this week than me. They were scheduled to work more hours than me this week. So yeah. And some people might think it's strange that I like am talking about like how I wish I had more sex, but like you should look for relationships, but like that opportunity, but like some people may not understand, because a woman can get so many opportunities. That's also another thing. I saw a video where a woman was dating like a neo-Nazi, and he had like a Nazi tattoo on his back, and I'm like, it's not even that you didn't notice the red flags. It's that the red flags are things that you saw as attractive. So it's like sometimes women's ability to pick the absolute losers is like beyond my comprehension, beyond my understanding, because in 5 seconds you'll have guys that will lower their standards so much. They want to deal with people who are close, but then they get nothing, so they increase their distance to 50 miles, 100 miles. So you'll have 200 guys. You could have had 200 guys you could have spoken to, and they would have liked your profile within 5 seconds. And any of them would have been better than this neo-Nazi guy who just got out of prison and stuff like that. And the neo-Nazi was like hitting and like choking her and stuff like that, and all type of nonsense. And it's just like women's ability, like any of those guys that you would have ran into on a dating app would have been better. So this guy's like, you're not even picking anywhere near close to the best option. Like this is probably the worst option. Like who on a dating app would have been a worse option? Like who's a worse option than that? If you guys knew what video I was talking about, like, so this guy's probably the bottom of the bottom. So yeah, that like women's ability to just pick like sometimes absolute losers, sometimes very abusive people, because you like the fact that he's dangerous until the danger happens around you, until you're the one who's in danger. Surprise, surprise, he's unstable. But you see him acting a certain way in the moment, like sort of not taking shit from anybody, and you think it's tough and stuff like that. Like women who aren't super ugly, they look all right enough, and just their decision, like their course of action that leads them to pick those types of guys is like beyond me. It's beyond my understanding. So, well, maybe it's something like just evolutionary, or the way they grew up or something. And then with how easy, another thing with like how easy it is, like a woman can just post that she's like horny and stuff, and not even just have one picture, just have a picture of her body, or even just a picture of her face, just one of those things, or not even have a profile, just say she's a woman, and how many responses will she get? So when it's like that, you're not going to really care about like sex. Like even women who, when they go to clubs, that's part of the reason. Ooh, that's something I did not write down, but I wanted to talk about because I thought about it earlier today. I don't even go to clubs because I know that primarily that and there's someone behind me right now, but I primarily don't go to clubs because I guess I know that some women go there just for some women will go there just for the attention. I know that some women will go there just for the attention, or just try to get free stuff, because the problem with going there is that it's commonly seen as a place where everybody is going to have relations of that sort. It's like a club is seen as like that kind of place where everybody goes there to interact in that way. And I've seen some I have seen some dating profiles where a woman says, I'm not just looking for casual sex. If I was looking for that, I would go to the club. But then I'm like, I'm like, is, if that is the case, then yeah, because it would be that easy to do. But you could also find that easily anywhere else. So, um, from my perspective, I just feel like I would not have a very easy time, especially as an introvert, um, having to compete with all those other. I just feel like in a club environment, I just feel like in a club environment, I would have a very difficult time competing with all those other guys for what is most likely a limited supply of women because they'll be let in there for free. And then you'll have guys that will compete with other men by buying drinks for those women. And then you have, and she's also going to get swarmed with attention, but she's not necessarily going to come there for sex all the time. I don't know that if I haven't spoken to her yet, because she's constantly being approached. She's being approached by like 100 guys in one day, in one night at the club, and it's like it's like also that's not even I'm not even like a person who likes big crowds and stuff. Like I like dancing and I like music and having fun, don't get me wrong. And I definitely had to work on myself to be better at starting conversations. But yeah, that's just like the club just seems like too obvious. I like to go places to a gym where it's not definitively for the purpose of meeting people that you want to interact with personally outside of that environment, like the gym or like the library or something, because you don't have to worry about her being she's not expecting to be approached by a million guys, but she might not mind being approached by one guy in this environment. So that's but the thing is, it's kind of a caveat because the other side of that is if this is a place for working out, like for working out, or this is a place for studying and reading, then at what point do you start to plant those seeds? What point do you start to talk to a woman and then find something out and then see if it'll go further? It's just like maybe at the gym I'll say hi in a friendly manner and ask a few questions about the workout and stuff like that, and maybe like meet at that place and maybe like meet at that same place later if it's not if it's just like because we already it's already known that we have something in common, which is it's already known that we have something in common, which is that we both work out or that we both like going to the library and things like that. But so yeah. And
Not bad. Can you help me out with
oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, buddy. Sure. But yeah, I feel like my philosophy is sort of like an amalgamation of multiple Naruto villains in the sense that like I can sort of see the world for what it is, like the hypocrisy, like um I guess like wanting to create my own world or something like that, because like I said before, it's not that I don't want to live, it's just that I don't want to live here, like you see. It's just that when you look at like I'm being charged like 500 something for I was quoted at about like 500 something for a dental visit on my first day of my checkup, when I just um pretty much just went in there to ask. And then um what's it called, I was uh today, well, yesterday, when I was after I got my blood drawn for all the STD appointments, I looked at my app and it was talking about some 800. I specifically remember it saying $868 or something like that that it was charging me. So I had to get on like a program. Once again, it's not about like the program that you use to like deviate or differentiate or just offset the cost. It's more so just I guess just the fact that that even just the market calls for you to spend that amount in any circumstance whatsoever. So yeah, just having to spend that money at all, just even being quoted these amounts is just like I didn't create this world or ask for these type of circumstances. So um, it would be it would be one thing if it would be one thing if it was kind of new or if I saw these things happen in real time. But it's like a lot of it is things that already have existed. So that's kind of and also kind of like Nagato when like the Rain Village team Nagato Yahiko, well actually Nagato by himself, when he knocked on someone's home and they said we don't have any food, even to a child, when Nagato walked past the window and he saw an entire bowl with multiple loaves of bread. Like I've seen that level of hypocrisy, and I even knew about that before my whole situation kicked off. So um, that's kind of the I guess my whole thing is that to have a world where like I just govern everything, I feel like it would be just a lot smoother if without like all the interference and a lot of people working for their own personal things. Also, I do want to mention that Danzo is like from Naruto. Danzo is like a villain that I really don't like, which I applaud I applaud Kishimoto and his team for like creating a character like that, because a villain is supposed to be disliked, because that was like a true villain. He wasn't an anti-villain or anti-hero or something like that, but he was just like a straight up villain. And then you have, if you want to talk about anti-hero, like low key, early Shippuden Sasuke was an anti-hero, like heavy Sasuke, like when he beat Deidara, especially when Deidara started crashing out. I was like, what is going on with bro? When he was about to detonate himself, I was like, what is going on? And then when Sasuke survived, it was kind of a sigh of relief, like phew, like at least Sasuke's alive. Now Sasuke and the gang can get back on their journey, right? Like that was kind of the feeling you get. And I like Madara because I can relate, and just some of the ideas, but like the execution is the story. Well, the story is supposed to indicate that their execution was wrong, but then there was even people who believed in Madara's will after they had seen that dream world. So it's just like just kind of being like disillusioned with a lot of the things I'm seeing, but also yeah, and just like Obito, just like seeing that when he saw what he saw with his teammates and like losing Ren, even though that wasn't his like main goal. As things moved on later, his goal was like sort of different. But some dudes be out here bullshitting I like my reasoning is totally definitely not to get not creating a world just so I can have just so I can have with like a woman who like really loves me or something. But no, but a guy will say something like that, but it'll be like, yeah, sure, that's definitely not the reason why. Like some of these dudes be bullshitting, it'll be something like that. Like we know that like there's nothing wrong with wanting sex, just say that. Um like yeah. So just like a combination of Naruto villains, but like also like Orochimaru in the sense of immortality. Like humans get old, and like the passage of time goes on. Death is a natural part of Mother Nature, but I would just like to be able to sign out whenever I want, whenever I personally want to sign out. That would that would kind of like alleviate, and just like not have disease and stuff, like that would alleviate a lot of like stress and just like worried about this or that or the other thing. Or maybe if you get like crushed in a building, you can just like respawn at a certain point or some stuff like that. So, but definitely not, I do not agree with like the experimentation of Orochimaru. But just discover immortality some other way. I don't know. People don't really care about ants the ants that they walk all over every day. Maybe you if you give something to an ant and they live for an entire year, you can be like, hey, maybe this immortality pill is going to work. If you, I don't know. I just, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But and people will be like, that's corrupt. Meanwhile, those same people are going to buy products from companies that regularly engage in child labor, and the consumer knows about that, and they don't have to buy the products, but they'll buy it because it's trendy, because their favorite entertainer was sponsored by that company. So money can definitely buy stuff. Like, also, I was thinking about how I would for sure throw my ass back for like $1 million. Like, it has to be a lot of money, but still low enough that a decent amount of rich people can realistically throw their hat in the ring. Like, they can raise their hand and say, fine, I'll give you that money. So, and they can maybe perhaps give me $500,000, 500,000 up front, then give me the 500,000 after, and that'll be a total of two payments of 500K. So, a lot of people give their trust easily. Like, 500,000 is definitely enough to buy my trust. But yeah, like, a lot of people, like I've gone places and then people haven't shown up. So that's been a massive waste of my time. So, like think of how much time is being wasted because of other people. It's like just other people. Like, it can be like sort of bittersweet when you find someone who cares about you or something, but it just like it feels like a lot of resources have been wasted, like, that could have been went somewhere else. Plus, like, you could have like so much advancement if everyone is just on the same page. So, like, if you had a human, let's say if you had a human world, but just like the infinite Tsukiyomi from that Madara casted on the world for a short amount of time. Just like that, everybody is like just works how you want it to work. Like, it's like this dream world that fits whatever the recipient wants to. Like, but something that's not fake. But the only downside is that I feel that I would have to go at it alone, and maybe not the creation, but just like the actual living it. I would have to say goodbye to like the people of planet Earth, which is like, yeah, that's just, I don't know, because there's like a lot of great people. I mean, yeah, that's just it. So yeah, those are just things that I've been thinking about. So yeah, I don't know. I just really want someone who's like someone I can I really want someone I can like text at the end of the night, and I know they're gonna respond to me. Like, someone who, like, if I message them, they're gonna ignore a bunch of people, and then but then when I message them, they're gonna respond to me like within minutes and stuff like that. So, um, I would say that's probably the type of stuff I'm looking for. Like, someone I can just have fun with, someone who doesn't hesitate to genuinely want to see me and stuff like that. And it's currently 5:55. I'm going to be leaving around 6:30. So, that's pretty much it. I believe something else comes up. Also, yeah. One of the main things that's funny is that, like, what I was thinking about is, like, as far as villains go, like, Danzo was a villain that I could not even relate to, which is like part of the reason why I genuinely do not like him. Even though I love his theme song, it's very calming and it's very soothing and stuff. He was just a villain that I didn't really care for. So, he even the fact that he elected for Orochimaru to become the Hokage, like, Orochimaru would have had all type of public birthday parties and sleepovers, and he would have little boys would come up missing. All the little boys and little girls would come over, and he would tell the Fire Lord, not the Fire Daimyo, to allocate some resources to funding his own private island, like the Hokage's island. And then he would have a list, and he would have parties, and he would have some secret ninja ointment type of stuff, lotion, and I don't know. He would have his own snake oil, Yeah, and then like I don't know, but yeah, that was just and then just the fact that when you look at the decisions that Donzo made, he made them for himself. Like he's going to talk about the village, the village, the village, but he started out, hating on Sarutobi because Sarutobi wanted to sacrifice himself for the village, and Donzo did not want to do that. He considered it, but he did not act on it. And then, as far as what the decisions he made that impacted Naruto's life and Sasuke's life, like Naruto was when Naruto was born, he like to fight the Nine Tails. Minato had teleported the Nine Tails like far enough where like the biggest tailed beast in the series, out of the well, no, out of the nine tailed beast, the biggest one would be far enough to not cause any destruction or collateral damage to the Leaf Village. That's how far away it was when the third Hokage and all the other super high ranking shinobi were there, and they saw the contract on Naruto's stomach, and then the higher ups found out about it. But it was Danzo who directly led to their lives being the way they are. And then hiding away when when pain invaded, and then hiding away, pretty much not being involved when the Nine Tails event was happening. Like Donzo is that type of leader that you'll find out something bad happened, and then 30 years later, you'll find out that Donzo and all of his close associates were like taking the week off, like starting 3 days in advance or something. But yeah, he's that kind of head of state. But and then like Itachi, you could see Itachi was like a kind person that kind of got pulled into the darkness of the systems of the ninja world. But like also you have to consider Itachi was like kind of just evil because like he freaking like made Sasuke watch a traumatic event like 500,000 times. So for like three days straight, and that's gonna you could have reasonably incapacitated him, and then you backhand him against the wall, and he slams into a solid wall. You could have cracked his vertebrae or his spine or something. Now he can never come back to seek revenge. Now what? And then you pin him against the wall and you punch him straight into his solar plexus. Like Itachi was like a young-ish man, and Sasuke was still a child at that point. So, and then, yeah, you kind of like you don't know what type of damage. Obviously, the movies are unrealistic, where an action hero who's supposed to be a badass, he'll punch some guy in the stomach, and then that guy will hold his stomach, and then the badass type of character will just. I saw Denzel Washington do that when he had an afro and he had like an orange uniform, and his son was supposed to be dating this one girl who was cheating. I forgot what movie clip that was, but yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So yeah, I guess I just want like something consistent, like someone I can talk to and not feel like, oh, this is like a friend. Let me tread carefully to make sure it doesn't go in a weird direction. And just like, but the thing is, people don't really want to be as social like that. How do you get over that thing of people not wanting to really talk as much in the gym, but then because that's my preferred place, not the places where everybody's dancing and everybody's drinking, because again, not just competing with other guys, but also a lot of the women are not serious and they're trying, like, I don't even care. I've seen pictures. I've had guys I had a guy who showed me a white guy who showed me a picture of this black girl he pulled out the club. Even knowing that, I still won't go. I still will not go. So I just prefer places that are not like that. As well as like the super aggressive, like macho type of guys who, again, like the guys who believe themselves to be like really tough guys because they don't take shit from anybody, which is just code word for they are way too aggressive and looking for a fight. Like the courage that makes you go up and talk to women gives you the stupidity to keep looking for conflict and stuff like that. And some people are like that sober, some men, and there's some women who do like that, like, but it's trauma and stuff like that. Just like if a woman is abused, she can be like, my body has caused me so much pain, like, and then some come to the conclusion me being feminine has caused me so much pain, or even it can lead to people like me. I don't know, like because I'm on the spectrum and I'm queer and stuff like that. Someone could say it could be because of this, this, or this. So it's like some interesting stuff. But I just observe the world around me, and I'm just like, I don't know. Also, it could be like there was this one video where a woman was talking about like I let my dog lick down there, and then I bet you there's she was just showing her face, and I bet you there's probably a bunch of guys saying I wish it was me, like you see the type of shit that I'm talking about. So with how eager guys are, like with just how easy it is to like get that type of like attention, like just how straightforward it is from a woman's perspective. But it's just like a lot of times you can't tell if a woman will be like receptive of something because like, oh, she just friendly to everybody or something like that. But then I don't know, like you don't want to, if you're too like direct, you might get banned from places, or you might even though that's never really happened to me, um or the woman might be more uncomfortable. Like I've had to, after a woman rejected my advances, I had to be more careful not to talk to her as much. But there was also some cases where I could still talk to her, and she seemed like she still felt comfortable. Also, the thing is, women are not super paranoid about everything. Because I met one woman who I the only time that we actually spoke was when I met her in person. That was the only time that we spoke, and then I went ahead and got her number, and then after that we spoke for after that we spoke for a little while. But yeah, after we spoke for a little while over the phone, keep in mind we only met one time in person. After we spoke for a little while on the phone, she eventually drove 30 minutes to a place that I could walk to. It was very close to where I live, and she didn't even use her car. She was in somebody else's. And now she also said she did not want to go to my inside of my place. She was inside of my place. She was very clear on that. But then there was also another time where I had met a woman only once, and then we talked. And then I went ahead and I we went ahead and went to a restaurant. And even though even though there are some dating apps, there are some even though there are some dating apps that tell you that you shouldn't like spend too much time juggling too many options as far as restaurants. We did eventually do that. I was just confident that it wasn't that big of a deal. And then after that, after we met at the restaurant, I eventually went to her place, and things began to go down. Things went a certain way. Now, that was also a time I learned that women who are on the much larger side, they I'm not really suitable for that because my equipment is not the sufficient size. But there is a way to manage that. But yeah, after that, I was asking her if I could see her again. I said, I want to see that thing again, THANG. And then she just ghosted me from that point onward. So understandable, since it probably wasn't the most fun experience, because I went to do some construction. I was repeatedly digging into a hole, and then my shovel kept on coming out, and I had to keep on putting it in, and she had to keep on helping me put it back in. So it wasn't big enough to really allow for a lot of up and downward motion. It wasn't really enough to allow for like a lot of power to be put behind the thrust. So yeah. Although most guys would tend to brag, I guess I would just say I'm relatively humble, or maybe even just it's probably better to just downplay it from my end. I tend to lean toward that if I have the option between like under exaggerating or over exaggerating, because I'm already like, I'm not surprised if someone's disappointed. Like hell, just as far as like getting attention, like if I don't, that's just another Monday, so I'm not going to get upset. Like I've seen guys in the street who will call out to a woman, and the woman will be paying her parking ticket, and the guy will be like, hey, I know you hear me talking to you. And then I think that was more during the summer when it was hotter, like the fall-ish, late summer, early fall, when it was still very, very warm outside. Basically late summer, because I don't think the leaves were really falling at that point. But yeah, that's the kind of reactions that like the more aggressive, those type of guys will, that's the type of reaction that those type of guys will give when they don't get their way. But that's really not me. It's just like it'll be a guy like I saw one guy who had an ankle monitor and he had a criminal record living inside of a hotel, and he told me he was seeing multiple different women. Like for some reason he just couldn't keep the women off of him, and I didn't ask specifically because that would be weird. Like did you pay, or were they charging or something? Like no. It was pretty clear to me that he was still struggling financially, still on the run from the feds. So but yeah, it's funny how it'll be a guy like me who's like, where like I'm not getting as much attention as I would like, or even any attention, because even a little bit, as long as it translates to physical, then yeah. But for guys like him, and for guys like that neo-Nazi in the video, for them to have attention from women, someone really had a daughter, and that daughter grew up and looked at a guy like that and said, he has a criminal record, he just got out of prison after X amount, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and open up my legs for him and stuff like that. And it's not like somebody has a yacht and a mansion and they're offering you a lucrative business deal and they're going to try and swindle you into doing adult content or something like that. It's just like, this guy just is what he is, and you see that, and it's like you have women's intuition. But the thing is, at some point you've started to see these as attractive traits. So I just find that like interesting. Like I just don't know, like that kind of stuff makes me just disillusioned with like so many industries and so many like social aspects of the world. It's just like I know I have no issue. Realistically, you know what? It's not even like I have to worry about that much, because again, women are not that paranoid where they're just not trying to deal with anybody. And like you can meet a woman in any kind of place, like all kinds of places, and it can turn into something. But just it's still kind of like a tightrope. It's still kind of like a tightrope, because they're generally like people in general, and then women just want to be, if they want to be left alone, and I do see this a lot, they will just sort of like shut out the possibility of you even going up and talking to them. But then some other times you don't know if they do or if they don't, because you can try and get a woman's attention when she's listening to music or something, like at the gym, or when she's reading like at the library and stuff like that. But then you don't know if she's being friendly or if she's actually interested. And then if you ask and it's not, then people are going to be like, why don't you just go to a club? But if you go there, it's a lot of time wasters, and they already have the repellers up there. They're already over there for some ulterior motive. So that's just what I find. That's just something I've been pondering on. So I have a lot of time to ponder on stuff. But in general, I'm at least glad for all the friends I've made over these past few months. That's just like, because that in and of itself is a sign that I've been like working a lot on my social interaction capabilities. Because like I just feel like just like the life doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter, that like it's not that big of a deal. Just like when I have one manager who gets stressed, but like she is a mom. Like certain people who've already invested a certain amount into this world, like they already have kids and stuff. Perhaps they overthink, and just I've gotten to, like I discovered like Eastern philosophy a long time ago, and my point where I started to think of like similar to Naruto villains is kind of when I was 17, when I officially walked away from Christianity. But I discovered like Eastern philosophy when I would read Narutopedia, the Naruto wiki, when I was like 13 or something. And this there's this Buddhist ideology of just like letting things go. Like even if it's stressful at work, like I still have that philosophy. It doesn't matter that much. Like this will fade. Like this will fade away. Like 100 years will pass from now, and like what's going to come of that? Like everyone's going to clock out and go home. So there's no need to act like this is the end of the world. Plus, you've been through this busy. You've had like a busy day at work like this, like many different times. Like you've had this sort of busy situation like a million different times. So, what's one more time right now?